My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. Okay, so for this moment, I'll sort of come back on just to kind of give us a little head start on how we carved this risen Christ figure. And what I would like to mention is that there were some other lines I forgot to draw in the first time, that when I looked at this figure, I noticed in my measurements that there needed to be some lines to be about half an inch over around here, like these and these, because that's where we're going to do some little carving to make those a little bit more flat. And then I tell y'all that there's this one little step I started on here with one. Think I'm gonna finish it now. It's where we sort of chip away this wood up to this line to make the little separation between the chest and the arm. I will kind of put on a little bit of a thumb protector here along with my glove and demonstrate a little way we're going to make the little cut here. Might need and just so you know, you've seen the woods I've used before, the buckeye and the bass, but here I've got a little piece of Tuplio block. This was what the woodcraft store happened to have at the time when I was looking for some pieces from which to make this, and think I'm going to narrow this down a little bit, let you all see what I'm doing here. And as for how this comes about, I'd like to tell you all that with all our weather conditions, I don't know how things are going to go as far as me going back to work tomorrow is concerned, because that's probably something where, of all things, probably we'll have to maybe wait till morning to find out, because it's currently Sunday and they don't really tell us necessarily on the weekends. They might tell us the night before what kind of day it's going to be, but since nobody's in the office on Sunday, we most often have to find out on Monday morning what it's going to be, if it ends up being anything different than regular school. So that's how we kind of work along here. I say that sometimes you might have to dig around a little bit just to kind of get a little bit more of the wood loose to make it come out to where you see the little arm coming the way it makes the figure of Jesus to come, and try to work a little ways, make a little bit more effort to put down into the statue. And I tell y'all that the school where I used to work in the cafeteria was always close to the woodcraft store. The one that I work in now is a little bit closer to home, so that makes it a little easier and simpler and better on me. Helps me a lot, so that's how we kind of work about that stuff. And I say that for this little figure of a risen Christ, we got a little word to come along here see how we do. And this time around, sort of like, and Tuplio is a really soft wood. There's kind of certain things it's used for. I took some leftover pieces of it and used it to make some polar bears one time. A couple sets of a mother polar bear and 2 cubs that were just kind of made from some certain little leftover scraps of it that were extra saw-offs from making other things. So I'd say that for this little step, we kind of got an arm to come, and I say that there's probably going to be more to show as we work later on in the business, but I say that there's little pieces of work that will come along a little further the way, and I say for this, you know, way things have changed so much as far as how I've done a lot of things in life, you know. Some of this stuff just brings me back to all my old days, back to my wood carving, you know. I mean, back to being in the meetings with the guild. Occasionally I still get to go, but not quite as often because I'm busier with a business now. So, as of how we work about this, I'd like to say that it's just a time when we're almost done here with this little arm of the risen Christ figure, and we know, according to my Bible, Jesus is holy God and holy man. And there's some religions that will deny that. They say there's some different translations of the Bible as far as what people believe, as far as what someone can be. You know, only the Messiah was both. Some people don't believe anybody can be both fully God and fully man. But Jesus Christ, the Messiah, he could. Got a little extra work coming along this way, and we bear the cross of Calvary. I say that this is just kind of the way a little project like this goes. I tell you, and I try my best not to use the knife as a saw. I know that can kind of not be the best thing for the blade. Some people could call you out and tell you you were doing it all wrong when you did that. That's how they did me when I first started carving. I'll be 44 on February the 1st, which is about in a week and a half, and I was 28 when I started carving. Probably would say that I was probably 14 years earlier that I started using wood to make projects at 14, but took me a while to get around to finding a place where I could really learn how to carve three-dimensional, and that was where I finally found the guild, where I started to take my lessons and learn. If you've ever seen me carve in those videos, those nativities from the pattern by Lynn Deal, some of those little ways of carving of those figures were in the instructions, were what inspired some of the instructions on how to carve this figure. I learned a lot of flat plane pattern stuff from that book, and learn how to make some figures of quite a similar nature from it. This is just the way a little work can find its way along to us, show us a little how we do. And say the thumb guard came off, but that's okay. And I make those thumb guards out of elastic bandage, you know, because when I had an accident on the bandsaw, and we won't go into all the grimy detail about how we had to get that bone put back in place with surgery, but we'll say that for quite a while I wore it with the wound and everything covered up by some elastic bandage for the protection. And you get it from Tractor and Supply Company. That's where we kind of get it in our little area. So that's where I discovered the product to be. Really always liked and enjoyed the very way it worked, and always enjoyed the black color of it. You can get it in all different kinds of colors. There's probably no telling what all kinds of animals they use it for, but if it's a roll of tape or a roll of bandage as big as it is, it's probably more than likely there are some big horse legs they have to use it for, some big cow legs they have to use it for, any number of uses for it when it comes to the animals, and probably do a lot of good stuff for people as well. Always enjoyed sharing what I did in these places with people. For years I always kind of shared a music ministry I used to have. That was always kind of one thing that I did, and recently I decided to delete my Reverb Nation page because I kind of felt like it was something where I kind of did music for about 25 years and would say that there's a certain part of it from which God called me to retire a few years ago, but this time just finally decided to retire from the distribution of it and everything, or distribution rather. It's just in my life, I say, kind of some work to do, and we're going to get along here to finishing carving out this little arm of the risen Christ figure, and come along with the work that makes it a little bit tough to know and tough to do. But I say that it's been pretty bad weather conditions for me to be out, so I've just felt a conviction today to stay in my home. And for all things, we don't know what it's going to be. Sometimes, you know, when things clear up, you know, they still have to close school a little bit due to the fact that the roads might be a little bit more than buses can travel on, because there could be some roads where it could be a little bit dangerous to travel on, little roads where, you know, those buses have to carry a lot of students, and could always just be a danger to those students that they kind of carry them out the way they do. So we know that we've got work in our hands to do, and sometimes I say there's going to be moments when a certain step can take longer than it can at others. This knife may not be sharp enough. It may be dulling out, but we've got other ones here we can try to use. This one I always thought had the best blade because it kind of had the thinnest blade and the one that I always thought cut the best. But as we come along here, I think we're getting to the point where we're going to be done with this a little bit sooner or later. See how this is just a little ways, our little project that makes it our day, and come along to make little cuts where we see the Christ figure come out good and clean and neat. I say by a little work we do, we're kind of showing little gray stripes away, showing little kindness every day. Bless the child indeed. It's just an old-fashioned love song, I'd say. And finally, we got that last step taken care of here. No telling where we're going to take it next. It's going to be a place where we're going to see a little light of day. And I say this is one good step we've already taken here. Make it so risen Christ is our Lord and our Savior. Jesus is good. And I say we kind of got the first part of this done out here. There's going to be more parts to do later on. Do want to say that it's been good to kind of get this part worked on here and some other things that are coming along the way. Somehow or another, I'm probably going to work on kind of equalizing out the durations of these videos, because it turns out some of them could end up being longer than others and some shorter than others, just depending on what there is to say, depending on what there is to do, depending on what there is to finish. And that's how it's all going to come out when we work with it in the end. It's all going to come out better for us and better for the people and better for my viewers, and hopefully one day we might kind of get a word out there and probably even draw some companies and probably even get some help out with what we do, because we just know that these little commercial ads that I sometimes see my online friends take part in, it would kind of be a little bit my dream to kind of share in some of those and, you know, take part in some myself, where I could probably be able to be an influencer in some ways and help some companies get runs for their money and things like that, because this is just the kind of thing where businesses compete, and I'd like to help anybody out. I'd like to have any sponsors I could. And so that is one thing I'd like to say as I record here, and would also like it if any of you all would share these videos with your friends and draw other subscribers to this channel, tell other people about this, get other people knowing about this, share the word, share a little bit more information with people, share some pictures and videos of my crafts, give people a little more ideas as to how this is going to be the kind of business that, or that I hope it's going to be, the type where people will come and see the work and take interest and probably even create some more custom orders to come. So thank you all again for staying tuned. Thank you for watching. I ask if you would that you subscribe to this channel if it so interests you. Thank you again. Take care and be safe. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.